Hey everyone, we've all been there. That moment when you wake up and the first thought that crosses your mind is, do I really have to go to work today? It's a feeling that can be all too familiar, that feeling of dread when your alarm goes off, piercing through the silence of the early morning and you know you have to drag yourself out of bed. You get ready, each step feeling heavier than the last, and you know you have to face another day at the office. The commute feels longer, the coffee tastes bitter, and the office door seems like a gateway to another world. But what if I told you that for many people it's not the workload or the deadlines that make work a nightmare, it's their boss. Yes, the very person who should be leading and inspiring you can sometimes be the source of your greatest stress. We're talking about those toxic bosses who can turn your dream job into a daily struggle. The kind of bosses who micromanage every little detail, who never appreciate your hard work, and who seem to take pleasure in making your life difficult. They drain your energy, crush your creativity, and leave you feeling defeated before you even start. It's like they have a special talent for making you question your abilities and your worth. And the worst part, this isn't just about a few bad apples, it's a systemic issue that affects workplaces across the globe. It's not just you, it's a widespread problem that many people face every single day. This is a widespread problem. Studies have shown that a significant number of employees are unhappy with their bosses. It's not just a minor inconvenience, it's a major issue that impacts productivity, mental health, and overall job satisfaction. Yep, you read that right. 3 out of 4 people dread dealing with their boss. That's a staggering statistic that highlights just how pervasive this issue is. It's not just a few disgruntled employees, it's a majority. But here's the good news. You don't have to accept a toxic work environment. There are ways to cope, strategies to employ, and steps you can take to improve your situation. You have more power than you think. In this series, we're going to expose the 5 most common types of toxic bosses. From the micromanager to the credit stealer, we'll break down their behaviors and show you how to handle each one effectively, and more importantly, give you practical strategies to not just survive but thrive, even in the face of bad leadership. Because everyone deserves to work in an environment where they feel valued and respected. First up, let's talk about the micromanager. You know the type. Always looking over your shoulder, second-guessing your every move, and asking for constant updates, even on the smallest tasks. It's like they think you need a babysitter, not a manager. And let's be honest, it's exhausting. Micromanagers often stem from their own insecurities and a need for control. They might not even realize how their behavior impacts you. They think they're being helpful, ensuring everything is perfect, but the reality is, their constant interference stifles creativity, slows down progress, and leaves you feeling completely demoralized. So, how do you deal with a micromanager without losing your cool? It's all about setting clear boundaries and proving your competence. Next up, we'll dive into some specific strategies to help you reclaim your autonomy and sanity. Remember, you deserve to feel trusted and respected in your workplace. One of the most effective ways to handle a micromanager is to actually beat them at their own game over communication. But here's the key, you're not just sending random updates to appease their neediness, you're strategically sharing information to demonstrate your progress and build trust. Think of it like this, you're proactively providing the information they crave before they even have a chance to ask for it. This could mean sending regular email updates outlining your accomplishments, challenges, and next steps. Or scheduling brief but focused meetings to discuss your progress and get feedback. The key is to be consistent and thorough in your communication. This shows your boss that you're on top of things and eliminates their need to constantly check in. Remember, the goal is to reassure them, not overwhelm them, so keep your updates concise and relevant. Now, while over-communicating can work wonders, it's equally important to establish clear boundaries. Setting boundaries is not about being confrontational or difficult, it's about creating a healthy work environment where both you and your manager can thrive. Clear boundaries help in defining roles, responsibilities, and expectations, which ultimately leads to better productivity and job satisfaction. This means politely but firmly pushing back when a micromanager oversteps. It's essential to communicate your limits in a way that is respectful, yet assertive. For instance, if your manager is constantly checking in on tasks that you are fully capable of handling, you might need to have a conversation about trust and autonomy. Remember, you're a skilled professional, not a robot waiting for their every command. You were hired for your expertise and abilities, and it's important to remind both yourself and your manager of that. Confidence in your skills can help you set these boundaries more effectively. For example, if your boss insists on approving every single email before you send it, this can be a significant drain on both your time and theirs. It's crucial to address this in a way that shows you value their input, but also highlights the inefficiency of such micromanagement. You could say something like, "I appreciate your guidance, and I understand the importance of maintaining high standards in our communication. However, I believe that I can handle routine emails on my own, which would free up your time for more critical tasks, and I want to make sure we're on the same page. It's important to ensure that your manager feels heard and understood. This can help in reducing any potential friction and make them more receptive to your suggestions. How about I run a draft by you for projects that require your input? This way, you can still have oversight on the more significant communications, while I handle the day-to-day emails independently. And for more routine communication, I can keep you in the loop with a quick summary of what I've sent." This approach not only respects their need to stay informed but also demonstrates your initiative and responsibility. The key is to frame your boundaries as a way to be more efficient and effective in your role, not as a personal attack on their management style. Emphasize how these changes can lead to better outcomes for the team and the organization as a whole. The key is to frame your boundaries as a way to be more efficient and effective in your role, not as a personal attack on their management style. Emphasize how these changes can lead to better outcomes for the team and the organization as a whole. Keep your tone respectful and focus on finding solutions that benefit both of you. It's about creating a partnership where both parties feel valued and understood. This mutual respect can lead to a more harmonious and productive work environment. Keep your tone respectful and focus on finding solutions that benefit both of you. It's about creating a partnership where both parties feel valued and understood. This mutual respect can lead to a more harmonious and productive work environment. Ultimately, the most powerful way to outsmart a micromanager is to consistently deliver exceptional work. When you consistently exceed expectations and demonstrate your competence, you earn their trust and reduce their need to micromanage. Focus on becoming an expert in your field. Take initiative, solve problems proactively, and always strive for excellence. When your boss sees that you're capable and reliable, they'll naturally start to loosen the reins. Remember, you have the power to shape your work environment. By being proactive, communicative, and above all, excellent at what you do, you can transform even the most overbearing micromanager into a supportive and trusting leader. Alright folks, let's move on to another challenging personality type, the narcissist. Now we all know someone who loves the sound of their own voice, but a narcissist boss takes it to a whole new level. Their world revolves around them, their accomplishments, and their brilliance. You'll rarely hear a thank you or a good job from a narcissist boss because, in their minds, any success the team achieves is really a reflection of their own genius. They thrive on praise and attention, and they'll often take credit for your ideas without a second thought. Working for a narcissist can be incredibly frustrating and demoralizing. You might feel like your contributions are invisible, your voice is silenced, and your self-esteem is constantly under attack. But don't worry, we've got your back. One of the most crucial strategies for dealing with a narcissist boss is to document everything meticulously. This might seem excessive, but trust me, it's your best defense against their tendency to twist facts and take credit for your work. Keep detailed records of your projects, including your ideas, contributions, and any communication with your boss. Use email whenever possible, and if you have a conversation, follow up with a summarizing email to create a paper trail. This documentation serves two purposes. First, it protects you if your boss ever tries to throw you under the bus or claim your work as their own. And second, it provides concrete evidence of your contributions, which can be incredibly valuable come performance review time. Now, I know it might feel counterintuitive, but sometimes the best way to deal with a narcissist boss is to actually feed their ego. Strategically, of course. This doesn't mean showering them with insincere compliments, but it does mean being smart about how and when you acknowledge their contributions. For example, if you're presenting an idea in a meeting, you could say something like, "I was inspired by your suggestion to explore innovative solutions, and I think this approach aligns perfectly with your vision for the team." By subtly connecting your ideas back to their guidance, you're acknowledging their leadership without diminishing your own contributions. It's a delicate dance, but mastering this skill can make your life a whole lot easier. Finally, when it comes to dealing with a narcissist boss, it's crucial to stay neutral and avoid getting caught up in their emotional whirlwind. Narcissists are often masters of manipulation, and they may try to draw you into their drama or pit you against your colleagues. Resist the urge to engage in gossip or office politics. Stay focused on your work, treat everyone with respect, and avoid taking anything personally. Remember, their behavior is a reflection of their own insecurities, not a reflection of your worth. By staying calm, composed, and above the fray, you maintain your professionalism and protect yourself from their toxic energy. Alright, let's talk about the boss that gives bad day a whole new meaning, the bully. Now, nobody wants to believe they work for a bully. We picture playground taunts and mean nicknames, but the truth is, workplace bullying is often much more subtle, and that's what makes it so insidious. This type of boss might use intimidation tactics like yelling, public humiliation, or constantly putting you down, especially in front of coworkers. They might even take credit for your ideas, making you feel small and insignificant. But here's the thing, you deserve respect, and you don't have to put up with this kind of treatment. So let's equip you with some tools to handle this less than ideal situation. I know, easier said than done, right? When that anger starts bubbling up, it can feel impossible to keep your cool. But trust me, it's key. Bullies often feed off your reaction, so the more reactive you are, the more power you unknowingly give them. Take a deep breath, count to 10, whatever it takes to keep your composure. Responding calmly and rationally can sometimes disarm a bully. It shows them you won't be an easy target. Plus, it helps you stay in control of the situation. Remember, bullies want to get under your skin. Don't let them. Now, I'm not saying you should run to HR over every snarky comment. Sometimes direct communication with the bully themselves can actually be effective. But if the behavior is persistent, impacting your work or creating a hostile environment, HR is there for a reason. Keep detailed records of every incident, including dates, times, witnesses, and specific examples of the bullying behavior. This documentation is crucial when you're building your case. And hey, don't be afraid to confide in a trusted friend, family member, or therapist. Sometimes, just having someone to talk to who understands can make all the difference. Remember, you are not alone in this. Bullying is a systemic issue, and it's important to remember that their behavior reflects on them, not you. One of the most powerful things you can do in any toxic work environment, but especially when dealing with a bully, is to build a support system at work. Connect with your colleagues, because chances are, you're not the only one who's noticed this behavior. Support each other, share your experiences, and build each other up. Remember, bullies often target those they perceive as isolated or vulnerable. Surrounding yourself with a strong network of colleagues can help create a sense of solidarity and protection. And most importantly, never, ever blame yourself. Bullies are often deeply insecure individuals who project their own issues onto others. You are worthy of respect, and don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. Alright folks, we've all had those teachers in school, right? You know the ones I'm talking about, the ones who would vanish for what felt like an eternity, only to reappear just in time to hand out report cards or give a surprise test. It was like they had some secret hideout where they were plotting their next move. The ones who seemed to disappear for weeks at a time, only to reappear right before report cards are due. It was almost like they were ghosts, drifting in and out of our academic lives without a trace. Well, imagine that, but with your boss. Yes, you heard me right. Picture your boss doing the same disappearing act, leaving you and your team in a constant state of confusion and uncertainty. That's right, this week we're tackling the elusive ghost boss. The boss who is never around when you need them, who seems to vanish into thin air just when important decisions need to be made. Now, ghost bosses aren't literally translucent beings haunting the office, though some days it might feel that way. They're the ones who are perpetually MIA, leaving you and your colleagues feeling like you're navigating a corn maze in the dark. They're the ones who are perpetually MIA, leaving you and your colleagues feeling like you're navigating a corn maze in the dark. You find yourself constantly wondering where they are, what they're doing, and if they'll ever show up to provide some much-needed guidance. You're never quite sure where you stand, what their expectations are, or if they even know you exist. Talk about unsettling. It's like trying to play a game without knowing the rules or the objective. But fear not, my friends, because just like with every other toxic boss, we've got some strategies to help you not only survive but thrive. We'll explore ways to keep the team motivated, maintain productivity, and ensure that the absence of leadership doesn't derail your progress. Remember, a good offense is the best defense, especially when you're dealing with a boss who's mastered the art of disappearing. We'll discuss proactive steps you can take to keep things on track, even when your boss is nowhere to be found. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? It's time to turn the tables on the ghost boss and take control of your work environment. Stay tuned, and let's dive into the strategies that will empower you to succeed, no matter how elusive your boss may be. First things first, when you're dealing with a ghost boss, you gotta become your own champion. That means taking initiative and making sure your work speaks volumes, even when your boss is nowhere to be found. Remember those presentations you aced in college? Channel that energy. Keep your boss in the loop, even if they don't explicitly ask for updates. Send them concise, informative emails summarizing your progress on projects. Think of it as leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, so even if they're lost in the woods of their own making, they can find their way back to your fantastic work. And hey, don't be afraid to schedule regular check-ins, even if it's just for 15 minutes. It shows you're proactive and keeps you on their radar. Who knows? They might actually appreciate the structure you're bringing to the table. Okay, remember that time you agreed to do a small favor for a friend and suddenly you're knee-deep in helping them move their entire apartment? Yeah, let's not let that happen at work, especially with a ghost boss. When your boss does materialize long enough to delegate a task, get it in writing. And I don't mean a scribbled sticky note they leave on your desk between disappearing acts. We're talking clear, concise emails outlining the project scope, deadlines, and expectations. This not only protects you if questions or misunderstandings arise later on, but it also shows your boss that you're organized and detail-oriented. Plus, it gives them a handy reference point when they inevitably forget what they asked you to do. Win-win. Here's the thing about ghost bosses. Their absence can actually be a blessing in disguise. It forces you to step up, take ownership of your work, and develop your leadership skills. Think of it as an opportunity to become the leader you wish you had. Take the reins on projects, delegate tasks if you can, and don't be afraid to make decisions. Show everyone what you're capable of, even without someone constantly looking over your shoulder. Remember, a true leader doesn't need a title, they inspire through their actions. So go out there and be the awesome, proactive rock star you are. Who knows, you might even inspire your ghost boss to reappear and take notice. Alright, raise your hand if you've ever been in a situation where someone else seemed to get all the perks, all the praise, and all the high fives, even when you were putting in the same effort. Yeah, it's not a good feeling, is it? Unfortunately, this kind of favoritism doesn't magically disappear once you leave school. Oh no, my friends, it can rear its ugly head in the workplace too, in the form of the favorite player boss. This is the boss who has their chosen few, their inner circle, well, you get the picture. And if you're not in that exclusive club, it can feel like you're constantly swimming upstream. Section 2. Don't play their game. Now before you go full-on Office Olympics trying to outshine the favorites, let's take a deep breath and talk strategy. Because here's the thing, trying to beat the favorites at their own game is a recipe for frustration and burnout. Remember, this isn't about them, it's about you and your career growth. Instead of wasting energy on trying to win over a boss who's already made up their mind, focus on what you can control, your own performance and your own development. Keep delivering exceptional work, exceed expectations whenever possible, and let your results speak for themselves. Because at the end of the day, your skills and your work ethic are what will truly set you apart. One of the best ways to navigate a workplace with a favorite player boss is to carve out your own niche, your own area of expertise. Become the go-to person for something you're passionate about, something that plays to your strengths. This not only makes you invaluable to the team, but it also takes the focus off constantly comparing yourself to the favorites. Remember, you bring your own unique talents and perspectives to the table, and that's something to celebrate. So, what are you passionate about? What gets you fired up and ready to tackle challenges head-on? Find that thing, own it, and watch yourself shine. Here's a secret weapon in dealing with any toxic boss, but especially a favorite player. Of your immediate team and department. Network with people across the organization, attend industry events, and connect with professionals online. This not only expands your professional circle and opens up potential, but it also reminds you that your worth isn't tied to the whims of one person, even if that person is your boss. Remember, you are talented, you are capable, and you deserve to be recognized. Don't let a favorite player boss dim your light. Well folks, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the wild world of toxic bosses. I hope you found these tips helpful and maybe even had a few laughs along the way. Remember, you're not alone in this. We've all encountered our fair share of challenging bosses, but the important thing is to learn how to navigate those situations with grace, resilience, and maybe a little bit of humor. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more awesome content, and be sure to share it with your friends, colleagues, and maybe even your boss, if you dare. And hey, one last thing. You deserve to work in an environment where you feel respected, valued, and supported. Don't ever forget that.